This was a game that had kept me up for the last 2 nights. I haven't slept since we've been back from that West Coast road swing because we only have 1 day to prepare for this complex type of offense, and I thought our guards stepped up. One thing I was worried about was their bigs being able to shoot and drive our bigs, and Billy, Chad, and Drew. But I thought those 3 guys really stepped up to the plate and stood up to the challenge and kept those guys out and did a great job defensively for us.
Coach, I guess the stat that, I don't know, you all won. Y'all shot 1 for 16 from the 3. How often has that ever happened?
You tell me we shoot 1 for 16 from the 3 against this team who was a big-time three-point shooting team, and I tell you we'd have a hard time winning. But we did have a hard time winning. And I think it predicated on we didn't give them a lot of threes. Their threes wasn't as devastating as it could be, as it does happen for them. We kept them at bay, but we were solid, and we got them in foul trouble. And most of their big-time scorers were on the bench with fouls. And the key to what our game plan was to get the ball inside and drive them to get them in foul trouble, and I thought our guys did a good job of that tonight.
Can you talk about Angelo Warner's game tonight? Team high 19 points, team high 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals. Did it all.
Angelo just is our do-it-all guy, and he's just as consistent as any player I've ever had, and he's tough as any player I've ever had. And he just doesn't make too many mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over anymore. He's gotten a lot better at that, and he's been a leader. He's been a constant for us, and I tell you where our bigs are playing much better now, especially offensively. If Drew can stay out of foul trouble, he would be scoring more than 5 points and getting 4 rebounds. But Billy Reeder stepped up. I thought Jordan Purcell came in and gave us decent minutes with just 2 minutes that we played him, I think, 4 minutes. We just got to continue. Our bench has got to continue to get better now that Picard turns out.
Sean, what got you going? I mean, you were down late in the first half by 9 points. You made a nice little run to close the half.
Well, we sped them up. We went to our press, our run and jump, and that kind of spooked them a little bit and got our juices flowing because we were real stagnant and just waiting on them to throw the punch. We were countering instead of throwing the first punch. And we started to get more aggressive and got our guys going, and we were able to get some easy buckets and transition from that.
So ask Angela about how important it was to get this win after, Gardner-Webb, tough loss. How important was it to these guys and you?
Well, it's very important. Every game is important on our schedule. And these guys just keep stepping up to the plate. We're finding a way to win. And every game's not going to be pretty, but we got guys that just grind it out and make plays when plays need to be made, and that's a sign of a good basketball team.
Sean, 10 games this season, you still have not been out-rebounded in a game, and I know you mentioned in the preseason that's going to be one of the identities of this team, if you can just speak to that.
Well, 9 times out of 10, you win the rebounding margin, you win the game. That lets you know that you're out hustling the other team. That and deflections. We get 39-plus deflections and out-rebound the other team. That means that you're playing harder than the other team. And if you play harder than the other team, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win.
I think the last time y'all were at home, the Marshall game, the free throw shooting was horrid, and then overtime y'all went crazy. I haven't really kept up as much on the road. How's the free throw shooting been? Because tonight I thought y'all looked vastly improved.
Well, we are getting better at that. We are doing that. We're just concentrating now. We're settling down. I thought those first few games we were just so amped, and we just had to slow down a little bit. And that's what we're doing now, really concentrating on making shots. That's all we've been able to do because we've been playing back-to-back games is just get shots up. So the more shots you get up, the better you become, and that's really what's been working.
Just real quick, Chad Posthumus, just talk a little bit about him, double-double. It just seems like a force. Early on, I didn't know if anybody could guard him or not.
Well, he's a tough guy for anybody. On the boards, guarding one-on-one because he's so massive. You just got to continue to stay within himself and pay attention to detail, and he's got a chance to be really, really good for us. Well, he's been really, really good for us. Yeah.
Sean, just a quick thought on your next game, Southern Miss, and then you guys get a well-deserved 11-day break, but how crucial will that game be for you?
Well, we'd like to go in there and get one. We snuck a couple people. Now we want to see if we can go in Southern Miss and get one. We beat another team in their conference. We go out to Nevada and, don't bat an eye, go in there and fight and knock them off in their home court. That's the plan to do this one. One of our creeds and our motto is no excuses. That's why I work my guys so hard you know, from a conditioning standpoint, so we can have an opportunity to play in this rigid schedule.
It's the head men's basketball coach at Morehead State, Sean Woods. Morehead State 74 and Wright State 69. Congratulations on the win, Coach.
Thank you.